What's up, everyone? So I am looking at this. Whoa, got some echo. I'm looking at this article, and they were talking about the number of push-ups. So for a lot of you who have been following the channel, we've been doing 100 push-ups. I think we're on day 41 now. And the thing about that is, like, I'm doing 100 push-ups a day, and it's 10 sets of 10. Some days I'll do 5 sets of 20. Nothing extraordinary. I'm not trying to do all 100 in a row or anything else like that. But the thing about it is where we're at with came across. Whoops, I came across somebody who put out an article, and they were saying how many push-ups people should be doing by like an age group. So I don't know. I just wanted to hop on and see what people thought when it came to that. Let me take a look at this real quick. I'm just making sure everything's working. I don't go live like from the computer often, but just want to make sure that I got everything kind of in order here. So yeah, that's cool. If anybody wants to hop in, that would be awesome. I don't know if I can invite anybody else into the chat at this point, but that would be kind of cool if I could. Anyways, let me get into what I was seeing when it comes to this number of push-ups. Let's see, where was this? The number of push-ups you should be able to do by age, experts say. So when we're talking experts, I don't know which experts, but let's check it out. Let's see. It may not take extensive blood tests or multiple body scans to determine how healthy you are. It turns out a classic workout move could reveal the truth. Experts at the Mayo Clinic say push-ups are a good measurement of muscular strength and endurance. That I agree with. I don't see that there's anything outside of the lines as far as when we're talking about what what our capabilities are and how to test them. I think push-ups are a very good one. I think probably a jog, squats. I think pull-ups are a little bit harder because even though there's a lot of people that can do them, probably more people could do push-ups than pull-ups. But let me see where I can kind of shrink this down so I have both things at once. Yeah, guess it's not going to work. That's okay. So let's look at what we have. The exercise engages in most major muscle groups throughout the entire body, including legs, abs, shoulders, back, and arms. The move involves beginning face down on the ground with your toes tucked, elbows bent, and hands at shoulder height. Keeping your body straight and parallel to the floor, push yourself up until your arms are straight and you are on your hands and toes. Then lower yourself back down to complete one full push up and continue until you need to stop and rest. Beginners can perform a modified version done on the knees and hands. Based on age and sex, the Mayo Clinic gave a target number for push up counts beginning with 25-year-old men and women. So, what's our goal for men and women when it comes to doing push ups? I'm trying to think when at that age, in my mid late 20s, I was a lot more into like weightlifting than I really was like calisthenics and things like that. So I could bench something really heavy a couple times, but I definitely think that there's a mental part of that too. You just think of push-ups as going on and on. It's like running and things like that. Hey, how you doing? I see somebody jumped in. So we're talking about push-ups, and I came across an article that spoke about how many push-ups each group could do. So by age, men and women per age. So the Mayo Clinic put this out, and they were the ones who said that these were the metrics of what a push-up would be able to should be able to be performed by age group. So when we are looking at 25-year-old men and women, the men should set a goal for 28 push-ups at one time, and women should work towards 20 to show good fitness level. 28 and 20 for your late 20s. Oh boy. I think that the key words there were work towards 20, and it's not to disparage women, but they said work towards 20. And for guys, I don't think in your almost your physical prime, like in your physical prime, that 28 push-ups should be that that hard. Um, I think it can be a struggle. You may get to 15, 20, and it turns into a real fight to get those last few out. But I definitely think that people can get that could get that done. But I also don't want to just throw people like out there like it's an expectation. I think that that's something that again the words work up towards is exactly what we want to be able to do. I think that those are good goal numbers, but I don't know if you should necessarily have to say like this is what you should be able to do at that age. I'm not sure that that's what everybody's going to be able to do. So, let's see what was the next age group. And then it says as age increases, the target goal declines. So right now, 20 and 28 are the goal. A 35-year-old age bracket. So we're jumping. These are what group decades. So in a decade, um, the women for women the number drops by one, and while men should be able to perform 21 push-ups. So you're talking about 19 and 21. That's kind of a big drop for guys. If it's only dropping one for women to 19, and then you're talking about dropping seven for guys, I wonder what that logic was. I wonder if they tested people or if this is just something that they're kind of thinking was something that I don't know. That's an interesting drop for numbers when it comes to that. So I'm just going to keep going on, but I would say, I don't know. I don't know. I see and hear of a lot of people, but again, when you're in a fitness community and circle, or you're around people that are, I guess, more fitness minded, 21 push-ups doesn't seem like insurmountable. But maybe this is the maybe this is the average. I don't know because I'm sure there's a lot of people that can do far more, and I'm sadly there's probably people that can do far less. So it's not a knock. It's just a reflection on we live in a very sedentary society. So let's see what's the next goal. So we had 28 and 20. We're down to 27, 21 and 19. So that gap really closed between men and women. Fast forward 10 years to 45. The Mayo Clinic says women should be able to do 14 push-ups while the count stands for 16 at men. So it dropped 5 for women, and for men, what did we drop? We dropped 5 from 21 to 16. Man, this is a rapid descent, and I guess maybe this is just if you just pluck people out of these age groups, not thinking that if you took people who had been taking care of themselves their entire lives, I'm probably guessing that that number would be higher. But we get older, the body breaks down, things happen, injuries, health. So again, these aren't knocks. It's just in my mind, it just seems like wow, these are eye-opening numbers. I'll put it that way. And I guess if anybody agrees, disagrees, that would be interesting to see and hear what your thoughts are, personal experiences in that area. Let's see. So for 55, the count decreases to 10 push-ups for women and 12 for men. So drop 4 for women and 4 for men at that point. That's the first time I've seen that the drop is somewhat even for 55. Again, if you have done this on a regular basis, but I don't know if you could just pluck the average 55-year-old out of a long time of not exercising and have them do 10 push-ups. Maybe they could. Maybe I'm not giving enough credit. And I'm definitely not trying to be a downer about it. I'm just trying to think of the people that I know in these age groups, and if I just asked them just to get down and do it, could they? For the oldest age at the Mayo Clinic, Both 65-year-old men and women should be able to do 10 push-ups. I'm still just going through this. Should be able to. Maybe this is like the words work your way towards the 20 for the 25-year-old women. I think that there's certain wordings in here that definitely will give it some validity to, it's not going to be easy, but this is where this is where we're at. Should be able to. For 10 for 65-year-old men, again, I think that it's going to depend what groupings were these? Were these people who hadn't exercised in some time? Did they exercise often? Kind of in the middle, or did they take like a gathering of people who just don't and people who do every day and everything in between? And then that's where they went with it. Yeah, that's interesting. While the guide is touted as an indicator of good fitness levels, fitness experts say it should be taken with a grain of salt. There we go. There we go. New York-based personal trainer, I can't pronounce the name, Natalia Alexeyenko, not bad, told Daily Mail she doesn't agree with the Mayo Clinic suggestion. She explained, I respect various expert experiments and studies, but in this case, I lean more on my personal experience training individuals. Most of my clients lead a moderate lifestyle and work out 2 to 3 times a week. Given that, I believe realistic norms might be lower for women by about 3 to 5 repetitions and higher for men with a sports background by about 5 to 10 repetitions compared to the Mayo Clinic's recommendations. I tend to agree with that. I do. And I've worked with people, athletes of varying ages and stages, and beginners to people who had a background, and it absolutely does vary. Ms. Alexeyenko also highlights that physical strength and fitness levels for both men and women are influenced by numerous factors, making it hard to restrict age to push up correlations. She adds training history, past injuries or surgeries. What did I say? Current lifestyle, nutrition, stress levels, posture, joint mobility, sleep quality, and recovery. And recovery all play a role in determining how many push-ups someone can do. Caroline Beckwith, also based in Manhattan as a fitness director, agrees with those sentiments. She told this website, I teach classes here and train lots of older men and women, and what I see in person versus what I read online really does not align. I'm with them. I teach a class that usually has about 20 attendees between 40 and 65. We do push-ups in class for about 40 seconds. Out of everyone, there may be a single person who can do them starting from a plank position. Everyone else is on their knees. Push-ups are really a full body exercise requiring core strength as well as upper body and glutes. I think the most important by so far thing about building strength is setting realistic goals and working on them consistently. Yeah. And speaking of consistently, that's why tomorrow morning on Impact Athletics Association, we will go live for day 42 of doing 100 push-ups every morning. 2019 study, which only included men, found adults who could finish push-ups were 96% less likely to develop heart conditions. Regular exercise has been associated with a whole host of benefits, including a 29% reduced risk of colon cancer, a 31% reduced risk of overall mortality, a 35% reduced risk of dementia, a 38% reduced risk of death from heart disease, and a 42% reduced risk of diabetes. Guys, exercise is important. And even if your lifestyle, as far as your eating and your drinking habits, aren't, just spot on, getting some exercise is super important. Whether you start to go for a walk around your neighborhood, after you get used to it, start trying to do that walk a little faster, get done a little sooner, or stop along the way if it's safe. Do some push-ups or squats or just jumping jacks, something. Just kind of get that. Work it back in, work that exercise back in. Play and exercise and physical activity is not just for children. The CDC's official exercise guidelines recommended people get 150 minutes of moderate intensity physical activity per week, or roughly 20 minutes per day. I didn't read this. These are just things that I would tell people all the time anyways. including 2 days of dedicated strengthening workouts. Moderate activities including biking, dancing, hiking, jogging, brisk walking, and swimming, and muscle strength conditioning. Exercises include weightlifting, push ups, pull ups, and squats. Like I don't know, it feels like we're me and whoever wrote this are in a line a lot, especially with those trainers as well. The Mayo Clinic says the following count should show a good fitness level based on age and sex. If your push-up count is below the target number, use the target as a goal to work towards. That I agree with. And maybe 20 seems like a lot for somebody, but once they get to 10, 20 won't seem so bad. Once they get to 12, 20, we'll see it starts to get within range. So maybe you just set small goals and say, I'm just going to start going for 10. Once you get to 10, okay, cool. 10 was a struggle, but I'm going to go for 12 or 13. Once you get to that on a regular basis, then you can try to bump yourself up. The one thing I always say is when you're doing your sets, unless it's designed that way, don't try not to go under what your goal is. So if you set yourself for 410s, try really to get those 410s. But here we go. Age 25, women, 20 push-ups, men, 28. Age 35, women, 19, men, 21. Age 45, women, 14, men, 16. Age 55, women, 10, and men, 12. Age 65, both groups, 10. Let's see. Yeah, I just thought it was an interesting topic, and that it should, like, I'm sure we all have our personal experiences on how that goes, but that's what I got. And there were some people in the comments on this article, so let's take a look and see what they had to say. Um, Manny Perez says, search U.S. Army physical fitness test, the older one with the sit-ups, push-ups, and the 2-mile run. Look up the requirements for your age and sex. If you are fit for the U.S. Army, you are fit. Fair enough. Somebody responded to that and said, at 54, I'm still doing 3 sets of 50 push-ups. That's good. That's good. And Gary Cook says, I'm 67 and stopped doing push-ups when I get tired of counting. That's fantastic. That's great. There's some more stuff in here, but I don't know if I really need to go into a whole lot of it. This is just something that I thought was a cool topic, and I'll probably bring it up tomorrow when I go live for the push-ups in the morning. We'll be on day 42, so you guys are welcome to join. Subscriptions to the channel are free, and you can also find in the description a link to the channel on Instagram. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm not going to hold you guys. I just wanted to run this out there and see what people thought. But as always, I hope this finds everybody on your journey of health and fitness. And like we say here, HWPO means hard work pays off. And this is Impact Athletics Association. Everyone, you have a fantastic day.